The 2026 Formula One season will be a huge reset. It opens the door to some insane results and scenarios. Today, I will list my 5 personal predictions about the upcoming season. Some of them are cookie cutter, while others are more out there. First off, let me introduce myself. You can call me Rusty. I've been a passionate Formula One fan for the past few years. I first started watching Formula One during Vettel's dominant era, but I really fell in love with the sport in 2020, when COVID forced us all into lockdown and there wasn't much to do besides play video games and binge Netflix. Instead, I chose to watch Formula One, and it quickly became one of my biggest passions, pushing me to learn more about the sport and talk about it as much as humanly possible. Now, without further ado, here are my predictions. Number 1. A Haas podium. With the bigger and closer TGR partnership, I think Haas can surprise a lot of people this year. Having the might of Toyota backing the smallest team in F1 creates an interesting mixture of technical expertise from Toyota and the efficient, almost bang-for-your-buck approach Haas is known for, which could raise some eyebrows. It would be next to impossible to predict where the podium could come, as looking at previous results will mean basically nothing due to the regulation changes. However, I think it will happen at a track that has produced some shock results in the past, such as Silverstone or Monza. Number 2. Williams wins the Grand Prix. My next prediction has Williams standing on the top step of the podium for the first time in over a decade. The huge upturn in performance from 2024, where they scored just 17 points and finished 9th in the standings, to scoring 137 points, 5th in the standings and achieving 2 podiums on merit is a sight to behold, especially when you consider that Williams had effectively written off the 25 season to fully focus on 2026. Under team principal James Vowles, the team was able to achieve this remarkable turnaround in just his second year in charge. Previously employed at Mercedes as Motorsport Strategy Director from 2010 to 2022, Vowles was a key part of the team's era of dominance, which included 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships. Now at the helm of Williams, he has brought expertise and experience to a team that had long struggled. With 2 full years under his belt and having laid the foundation to return Williams to the front of the grid and into championship contention, I foresee the fruits of his labor paying off as early as 2026. I predict that Alex Albon will be the driver to deliver the long-awaited victory. As for why I think it will be Alex rather than Carlos Sainz, call it a gut feeling. Number 3. Aston Martin fight for at least 1 win. With Adrian Newey signed as managing technical partner and later team principal, and Honda partnering with the team to supply engines under the new regulations, it's clear Aston Martin is building towards becoming a future top contender, mirroring the early years of Red Bull racing. In 2023, they achieved 8 podiums and became a genuine nuisance to established giants like Ferrari and Mercedes. Some claim this was nothing more than a false dawn, but I see this instead as evidence that the team can achieve great results and fight at the front, provided they can put all the pieces together at the right time. Like Williams, Aston Martin is still in its building phase, and with the new regulations they are sure to see at least some of the benefits of the blood, sweat and billions invested by Lawrence Stroll begin to pay off. With Fernando Alonso still performing at a high level, rest assured he will be there when the opportunity arises. A podium will be on the cards this season, and I believe the promise of the top step of the podium will shine over the Aston Martin name for the first time in Formula One with a genuine chance at victory. Number 4. Mercedes engines are fast, but they will have reliability problems. There has been a lot of discussion surrounding Mercedes and Red Bull regarding their power units, with rumors suggesting that both manufacturers may have discovered a way to gain an early advantage under the new regulations. The most persistent claim is that they have found a method to effectively bypass the mandated 16:1 compression ratio, instead allowing the engine to operate closer to 18:1 under load. Whether this supposed performance gain will be as significant as some suggest remains to be seen. However, I believe any advantage will ultimately be short-lived. In Mercedes' case, I expected reliability concerns to emerge, potentially forcing the team to abandon this compression ratio approach and revert to a more conventional 6-1 setup, as intended by their regulations. Unlike the start of the turbo hybrid era, the team has suffered a steady loss of key figures since 2020 and through the 2022 regulation cycles. And as a result, they may no longer possess the dream team that once allowed them to exploit a major regulation change so effectively. Number 5. McLaren will fall back. My next prediction is that McLaren will fall back into the pack in a manner similar to what Red Bull experienced in 2014. While McLaren undoubtedly built a fast car in 2024 and even more so in 2025, where they dominated the field with a 364-point lead over second-place Mercedes, I believe their success was amplified by the collapse of their main rivals rather than outright superiority alone. Red Bull's downfall was driven largely by internal turmoil, sparked by a power vacuum following the death of former owner Dietrich Mateschitz. Background politics escalated into near civil war within the team, while key figures departed for new projects, most notably Adrian Newey to Aston Martin and Jonathan Wheatley to the Audi project. This instability ultimately culminated in the dismissal of team principal Christian Horner. Ferrari, meanwhile, compounded McLaren's advantages by radically changing their car concept for 2025, despite being at the end of a regulation cycle after narrowly missing out on the Constructors' Championship in 2024. That decision led to a sharp drop in performance, with Red Bull and Ferrari effectively out of contention and Mercedes still struggling to fully master the ground effect era. A sizable vacuum opened at the front of the grid, one McLaren, as the most stable top team, was perfectly positioned to fill. However, this advantage may prove temporary. Red Bull began to stabilize in the second half of the season under new team principal Laurent Mekies, rediscovering performance and winning 6 of the final 9 races. Max Verstappen ultimately missed out on the Drivers' Championship by just 2 points. With Ferrari abandoning development of their 2025 car to focus on 2026 and competition set to intensify under the new regulations, I expect McLaren to fall back to around P4 in the standings, still a front runner, but with their shortcomings exposed once the field closes in once again.